to get off the internet. And I know you're like, okay, really? That's how you're going to start off this live? Yeah. So some of you guys really do need to get off the internet. And we are at an all-time high when it comes to comparison. And what you don't understand is that your blessings, like God could literally be holding your blessings right here because you are stuck in this perpetual state of comparison, and it has to do with you constantly being on the internet. So in order to know if you're one of these people that needs to get off the internet, at least for a while, okay, at least for a while, to do a detox, is when you see things, if you're triggered by somebody's page, by somebody's post, by somebody posting something that they, that they're proud of, if they're posting something that is like a reward, or maybe a new house or a new car, or posting a marriage and you really want to be married, if they're posting a child and you really want a child, and you're just like kind of like either get into that person doesn't deserve it because of X, Y, and Z, or you start to get into this like, well, why not me too, or whatever. You need to get off the internet. A lot of people that I've had conversations with over the last year and a half, and actually one that I had recently that I was like, okay, this is the tip of the iceberg, I have to like bring this up, is if you get triggered by somebody posting something, it literally means that it's an area that like you actually need to work on in your own life, but it's easier to downplay or undermine or belittle the other person. Like it's kind of like the whole misery loves company thing. So I was having a conversation with someone, and they were basically talking about this really expensive wedding that they saw, and they were like, at the end of the day, like, I don't understand why they get to have that life, and then like the rest of us get to have the lives that we have. And I'm like, that's interesting, like, tell me more. And they're like, well, why is it that they get to have so much wealth and get to do all these extravagant things when like the rest of us are just like barely being able to pay the bills? And see, from my end, like how I viewed this particular wedding, I was like, when you're at that level of wealth, because it's not even just success, because you can be successful and not be at that number of 11 figures type of level. So when you're at that level of wealth, there is a plethora of things that come with it, right? There's a status quo. There is a certain image that you have to uphold. There is, you have to always be on, right? And when you have that level of wealth, like even like people think that it's all like glitz and glam with celebrities. I live in LA, and I see and hear things behind the scenes that a lot of these people with, that are super wealthy go through, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. Not saying that, of course, we wouldn't want some of their, some of that wealth too, right? Because it would make, life a little bit easier when it comes to bills and things like that. But in my mind, like the way I viewed that was, wow, like I am so happy that I have like my level of peace, because I know with that level of wealth, you have to be, in front of the camera all the time. You always have to be like just doing a lot of things that you don't want to do. Even like I've had, some encounters with celebrities, and, there's times that they don't want to have to be on. They don't want to have to take pictures. They don't want to have to be, in an interview and be, kind of like play the character that they are portraying to the world, right? Like some days you just want to be yourself, but when you're known to be a certain, like have a certain image or be a certain way, you have to like constantly be living up to that. And so I was just having a conversation. I just was like, it's so interesting how you could be so triggered by somebody else's wealth to where like it's literally ruining your day or ruining your week, or it's making you go through your head of like, well, why not me? Or what did I do wrong? Or why did I get dealt this hand in life? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that is beautiful. They have a gorgeous wedding, but like the amount of times that they had to be on TV, the amount of times that they had to be on interviews, the amount of times that they had to do outfit changes and I'm just like, I will observe and admire from afar, but I don't want, like, that wouldn't be fun for me. You know, like I'm like a very social person, but I'm also like an introvert as well. Like I'm like what you call an ambivert. Like I'm both. Like when I'm in my extrovert mode, I'm like a beauty queen. You know, when like you're, you know, when you're trying out to be a beauty queen or whatever, like Miss USA, it's like you have to always be on. I could be that. But then when I'm not in the mood, it's like I'll go and retreat for 4 months and recharge my battery. So it's like when you are at that level of wealth and you are that famous, you always have to be, it's kind of like the royal family or whatever in the UK. It's like there's just a certain protocol that you always have to be on. Like you have to dress a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you have to say things a certain way, you have to like play this role. And so basically the main point of why I got on here to tell you that is because I've seen people literally have like the worst attitudes, fall into depression, fall into anxiety, fall in, you know, it's basically like a spirit that jumps on you in a way where everything is just a woe is me. Everything is like you're a victim. Everything is a comparison. And if that's the case for you, you need to get off the internet. Like, it actually isn't really that normal. Like, I think that society is truly figuring out, like, we're developing a new muscle for the plethora of information that's being stuffed in our head all the time from different apps, different social media platforms, you know, just the text messages, the emails. There's so many different things and bells and whistles right when we wake up that it's like it can deplete and drain your energy, your mental energy, immediately, like within the first hour that you woke up for the day and you haven't even started your day barely. So this is just a fair warning, you know, going into this next fall season, winter season, people are going to be posting, you know, their like it's so funny to me because people will like really compare their lives to the families that like post in the super cute pictures of like you know, parents posting with their kids and like matching pajamas and stuff like that. And then I'll see rants of like single women, single men of like the woe is me, like I can't find anybody, my life sucks and da 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 da. And I'm just like, you know what? You just don't need to be on the internet, because like the way, if you can't have enough emotional intelligence to see like, oh, so excited for when it's my turn to post like that. So excited for them. You know, I know that they were going through a lot and it's so beautiful to see where their life has come to. Like that's literally how I think. So when I get into conversations, they're like, yeah, you know, you just have a very optimistic view, but like I have more of a realistic view. And I'm like, no, to me, you have more of a pessimistic view because if your day is ruined, your week is ruined because people are posting positive things about their life. Like if it's not motivating and inspiring to you and it's triggering you, then you need to get off the internet and you need to just like do some self-development and self-introspection and get strong in that area to where when you see those things, it shouldn't spiral you down into being a victim, or my life, you know, ended up being like this, or I was, you know, abused when I was younger and that's why my life turned out to be the way that it is. If you are still living, if you still have breath in your body, your life can completely be changed instantly. Like we think about things in like the natural, like, you know, you got to set goals, got to set, you know, it takes time. But if you have God in your life, things can happen supernaturally for you. I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen in friends and family around me where it's like, it seems like it's just doomsday for their life. And all of a sudden, boom, God decides to upgrade them, up level them in an instant, in a twinkling of an eye. So if you know, are really going through it in that department, just don't be on the internet. Like you might really be one of those people. And I'm really, because I kind of am, I don't want to say changing, because my view it hasn't completely, I'll say it's evolved. My opinion about this has evolved. Because I used to be of the thought of like, okay, since our life is so connected to the internet, you're going to have to learn how to work with it. But there really are people, and this is where I've evolved in my answer, there really are some human beings that just should not have social media. Like, I really didn't want to, like, I'm like, no, like, you can make it work for your life, and there's so many, it's a tool, and it can really enhance your life. Like, I've made money on the internet. You can start a business, you can market your business, you can, even if you work a 9-to-5, you could get clients, like, I'm like, you could use it as this amazing tool. Like, you take your power back with social media. Some human beings should not have social media. And you know what? There was a time 10, 15 years ago where we didn't have it, and the world was still evolving and growing. So you might just be one of those people that just shouldn't have it. And I've actually talked to some people where they don't have it, and they're like, my life is just 10 times better without it. And I used to be like, oh man, it's such a great tool, and they're really missing out on a whole like sector of like opportunities. But you know what? Like, I think that there's some people that can learn how to make it fit in their life and not have it infiltrate their life or consume their life. But there's some people that you really probably shouldn't be on it, and you should probably just lean into what has always worked, which is doing what you were doing before you had social media. Now, if you're someone that's 18, 19, 20 listening to this, and you're like, well, I literally grew up with it, then, I'd be interested to hear your opinion about this, because, really you might actually have more of a bone or a muscle to deal with not comparing, because, you grew up with it. For the rest of us millennials, where, the only people you had to compare yourself to was people that were your neighbors, maybe people that you ran into at the grocery store, and then people at your job. And then maybe if you were part of a club, like, I don't know, like an adult, like sports club, or like a tennis club, or a country club, like, a golf club, something like that. But that was it. It was kind of like a normal community of people that you were around, and that you didn't have to you didn't have so much comparison. Now we have access to the entire planet to compare ourselves to. So it's like, I can go on the internet right now and fall into a spiral of comparing myself to a girl in Dubai. A guy can go on the internet and fall into a spiral of a famous soccer player in the UK. Like, that's not normal, right? So we're learning as a society, as human beings, like, we are the first wave of human beings that's ever existed on the planet to have this kind of tool. The tool is enhancing some people's lives on a major level, and the tool is actually creating destruction and pain in some people's lives. So maybe it really isn't for everybody, and you really have to sit back and just decide if you're one of those people or not, if you really are somebody that suffers from this, or maybe you need to take a break. Like, for me, I was like, okay, mine wasn't the comparison thing, because the way that my life has kind of turned out, I've always been around beautiful, fit people. Like, I live in California. I was on dance teams. I used to work at a job where we would have to recruit, models that would model at the job that I worked at and model for like the top designer brands. Like, I've been around gorgeous, beautiful men and women. So for me, like, forget the internet. Like, I was just around it, even being in LA, you run into people that are, very successful monetary wise and things like that. So for me, I was like, you just got to get in where you fit in, and you just got to enhance what God has gifted you with, and like lean into those gifts, or those, those things that are great about you, and enhance those things, and just kind of like not put so much power on the things that you're insecure about. And so I kind of learned that at a young age. Even like when I think back, actually, when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. And then, so sometimes we would cheer at other schools. And like, so I got to see like girls from all over the city that I was from. And there's beautiful girls at my school that were, in sports and cheerleading and dance and not in just beautiful, young girls and handsome young men at my school and at the surrounding schools. So, I was used to seeing that there's options out there. For me, I always use things as a motivator. Like if I saw something that I really admired in somebody, I was like, ooh, I need to get better. Like if they can do it, I can do it. Like that was like the mindset I had. I don't know where that came from, but I don't know if it's from being the oldest child. I don't know. I have no idea. But that's never really been an issue for me. The issue with me with the internet was it being too time consuming. Like I could end up spending hours looking at vegan recipes, or hours looking at fitness ideas, or hours looking at social media marketing ideas, where I'm like, dang, I just spent 3, 4, 5 hours on this. So that was my problem. So I actually had to really come to terms with admitting it and then figuring out a solution, which I have now. So it might just be a point where you like look at yourself and you look at the internet and you say, okay, where is this enhancing my life and where is it sucking away from my life, and how can I change some things to make it work to where this is a tool that will elevate me and not deplete my life, right? So if you are in that boat, this is just your sign to like figure it out, because the internet's not going anywhere. If anything, more apps, more things to sign up for, more subscriptions to be a part of. There's always something new and improved, and the newest, dating app, the newest social media app, the newest that you can get swallowed in it very quickly if you don't have a game plan. Okay, so can I go through? I think I'm the one who's allowed to go out this way. I think they're in the wrong. All right, so that is what I really wanted to get on here and say, because I'm like, oh my gosh. Also to get with my email list, sign up down below in the description. I would love to stay connected with you guys through email as well. And, let me know what you guys think of this. Cause is there anyone that has had a tough time, or what solutions have you come up with as somebody that, maybe has been bumping up against this issue that I'm talking about? Do you guys know people that have had issues, and what have they done? Let me know in the comments. I really want to break that down, because I really think that that's like, this internet era that we're in it could be the very thing that's stopping you from living your best life, or at least getting on a path where you're really excited about life, and you're excited to grow, and you're excited to try new things, and I think like this comparison era has gotten a lot of us scared to try. Like when I was younger, it was like cool to try. It was cool to try and mess up. It was cool to go for it. It was cool to like get after it, but now it seems like, you feel like you have to be perfect before you actually go for it, and you try, and it's like, that's not how you evolve in life. Like literally, it's not. And because everything looks so perfect online, it makes you feel like you're never ready. Like you're never ready to go after the body that you want. You're never ready to go after your dream business that you want to start. You're never ready to go after, whatever area it is in your life, because it's like when you go on the internet and you see packaged, done highlight reels, it makes you feel like I'm already behind. But the truth is like, you didn't see their path. You didn't see their struggles. You don't see the struggles that they're still going through as they're posting the reel, like what their environment is like, whether it's like a mentally, maybe they live in a beautiful house, but it's on a joy-filled house. It's on a happy house. It's not, maybe they have a lot of money, but they're, mentally disturbed. You literally don't know what's going on. And, I don't know if that's because I also live in LA, so I also see a lot of smoke and mirrors. And when you bump into some of these people, or bump into some of these like really huge social media stars or TikTok stars or, you know, whatever, you're just like, they're just like an average looking person just like the rest of us. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't compare yourself. Like, it's fine. Like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. God has you exactly where he wants you. And he's waiting for you to like break yourself out of this mental limitation of comparison, and so he can have room to bless you with the tools that you need, right? The gifts that you need to get you to the next level. You know, it might be because you're comparing yourself so much that that hour that you spend a day comparing yourself could be an hour spent reading that book, or, you know, going to that seminar, or getting on the phone with the life coach, hiring that therapist. You know what I'm saying? It's like it could be the time wasted with the negative beliefs, the negative thought patterns is what's holding you back. So I was trying to explain that to somebody the other day, and I was like, you know, this is not the first time I'm bumping up against this. And it's you got to get in front of it. You got to get in front of it before it's too late. All right. Also tap in. Me being vegan, it is, you know, you can see I'm like my muscles starting to come through. If you're struggling to get in your protein, tap in with the protein that I use. It's called INNO SUPPS. Down in the description, if you use my CianaSingh, or I'm sorry, it's embodypursuit discount, you'll get 20% off. If you're, you know, just putting that out there, because I do talk about veganism and things like that on my page a lot. So if you're struggling, that's what I use. I literally use plant-based protein powder to get in my protein. And let me know what you guys think in about this video, or about the topic of this video. And also follow me on Instagram. Tap in with me on Instagram. I do post more of just like my daily life. If you're interested in that, if you want to like see, like connect with me a little bit more too, follow me on Instagram. You can find it down in the description or in the bio on my YouTube page. If you go to like the homepage on my YouTube page, you'll find it. And that's really all that I have for you. So I will talk to you guys soon, and make sure to catch me on the next one. Bye.